Okay, Mr. Bauer, I I would like to express our sincere appreciation to you for your time to join with us this afternoon. I think this meeting was set as a medium for interaction among us, as well as a preliminary step to explore the possibility of establishing a mutually beneficial cooperation between your office and the government of Indonesia. Before we share or dig up the data, I cannot stress enough that this is the right time to do business with Indonesia. Why? Here I would like to explain two reasons for this conviction of mine. First, just 2 weeks ago, perhaps you may be aware that U.S. Trade Representative Office has agreed to extend the GSP or Generalized System of Preference facility for Indonesia. This is very important milestone indeed, not only because we can continue exporting about 800 out of 3,700 products to US without having to pay any duties. But also, this is very important to note that collaboration on GSP conclusion means that the US is satisfied with the progress of reform that has been taken place by Indonesia, ranging from the reform of restriction and investment improvement. This is again a very great improvement indeed. Because the level, second is the GSP also reflects that the level of confidence and understanding between two countries has been improved with the conclusion of this negotiation. Now we hope that business exporters, traders from United States and from our country could capitalize this a big opportunity on trade and investment relations. Aside from economic factors that I just explained to you, Indonesia is a budding economy which keeps and share the common norms, common value with the United States, that we are a democratic country. Indonesia is also a healthy respect for the law. We have also a good relationship that has been developing for over 70 years. And if we can see also there's an increase of visit between high-level officials from two countries, including the United States Secretary of State visit to Indonesia recently, I think 2 weeks ago, and meet our president and also some ministers during his visit to Indonesia. Mr. Kurt Bauer, we have prepared a short presentation focusing on how Wisconsin and Indonesia can deepen our existing trade and investment relation. As of September 2020, this is the data that we have total trade between Indonesia and Wisconsin was valued at about 190 million US dollar. In 2019, the trade was valued at 341 million US dollar. So up to September, we have reached about maybe 60% from last year. That we hope this year our trade value more than last year is amount 341 million US dollar. But if I may, I would like to give a general overview focusing on one sector, namely the manufacturing sector that related closely to your office or to your organization or association. We know that this sector is what Indonesia and Wisconsin has in common. Wisconsin relies heavily on manufacturing, as Wisconsin also top 10 export and imports are mostly manufactured goods. These are sectors where Indonesia is excellent, and we are confident that the value can grow even more. My colleague from trade office will be able to expand about this further soon. I can also say here that manufacturing is also a dominant part in our efforts to our national program, Making Indonesia 4.0, which is a roadmap that encompasses the increasing of employment in the sector to 20% of the total workforce by 2024. Thus, we will pay special attention to the industrial sector. Further on general overview, what I just mentioned on our manufacturing sector, I can add some more information to you that this sector accounts for 20% of Indonesia GDP and play a key role in Indonesian economic development. In 2019, last year, the manufacturing sectors contributed about 60.76 billion US dollar, or around 79% of Indonesia total export. Indonesia manufacturing sector has also posted a consistent 4% growth year on year since 2016 and registered about 147 trillion rupiah, or is equal to 8.9 billion US dollar in investment from January to September last year. And the main area of our manufacture production includes textile and garments, food and beverage, electronics, automotive, and chemical, with the majority of manufacturers in these sectors comprising of a micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise. If I may, to kick off discussion on investment and trade, I will later hand over this part to my colleague to brief you further. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Consul General, for the very informative remarks. So I believe right now we have about, I think about 10 minutes for the presentation, and I think it's going to be a twofold presentation. The first one will be focusing on investment, and the second one would be a bit of a trade presentation from our Indonesian Trade and Investment Office. Mr. Amade, I would give you the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Verano, Consul General. Mr. Bauer, I would like to use this opportunity to share with you some information on investment opportunities in manufacturing sectors in Indonesia. But first, allow me to show you that the economic relations between Indonesia and the US, especially in the investment sector, so far has been very strong and excellent. Currently, the US is the 9th biggest investor for Indonesia, with the total investment amounted to 998 million US dollar in 788 projects in the year of 2019, and has already reached 201 million US dollar during the first half of 2020. The US foreign direct investment to Indonesia in 2020 mainly invested in the sectors like mining, 49%, followed by services, 17%, chemical and pharmaceutical, 12%, food and beverages, 10%, property, 3%, and trade and repairs amounted to 3%. Next. On the other hand, Indonesia's investment also play significant role in the US economy. Based on the data by Select USA, Indonesia's investment in the US in 2019 amounted 710 million US dollar and invested in 5 industrial sectors like food and beverages, aerospace, software, and IT services, as well as rubber and plastics. Companies like Garuda Maintenance Facilities, Multistrada Rubber, Indopoly Plastics, Shrimp Improvement System, Sinarmas Group, Legna Furniture are among the few that has already invested in the US. Indonesia's investment in the US has helped to support job creation, about 400 jobs, and expand the US export by 132.4 billion. So the Indonesian companies also look forward to have the opportunity to invest in Wisconsin. Since 2019 onward, area of investment in Indonesia has been focusing into 5 investment sectors, such as mineral downstreaming, development of lithium batteries, transportation infrastructure, new renewable energy, and reducing carbon emission. On mineral downstreaming, Indonesia is currently works on the investment project value at 20 billion US dollar to transform our nickel ore into electric vehicles component. Several foreign investors from Asia have already participated in this project. On the development of lithium batteries, Indonesia is the largest nickel producer in the world that provides 27% of global market supply for nickel, the main element for lithium battery. Indonesia has designated 2 industrial parks for nickel smelters. Those are in Morowali, in Sulawesi Island, and in Wedabai, in Maluku Island. On transportation and infrastructure, in 2019, Indonesian government has completed 19 national strategic projects in infrastructure with a total investment of 6.97 billion US dollar. And in 2020, Indonesia has already spent 8.58 billion US dollar allocated to build airports, toll roads, public works, and public housing. On renewable energy, from total 442 gigawatt of renewable energy potential, Indonesia currently only capitalizes around 9 gigawatt, which is only 2.1% of the total current potential. Thus, that means the potential investment in this sector is still widely open. On reducing carbon emission, Indonesian government is currently working closely with the international organizations such as Center for International Forestry Research, or C4, and foreign investors to restore Indonesian tropical forests in 86 RED projects spreading out from Sumatra Island to West Papua. Besides those 5 focus areas of investment, Indonesian government also prepared more than 15 special economic zones, or SEZ, and 85 industrial estates across the archipelago. These zones are open to 100% foreign investors and provide more tax incentives, facilities, and ease of permits. Among those offered for manufacturers investment are Batam and newly launched Batang Special Economic Zones in Central Java. The Indonesian government also provides 16 economic policy packages to cut red tapes, simplifying procedures, and attract more investment, among others, to provide more predictable regional minimum wages, shorter dwelling time, easier visa and working permit process, land acquisition acceleration, 3-hour licensing process through online single submission. To increase foreign direct investment in manufacturing industry, the Indonesian government give abundant stimulus, among others, 100% tax holiday on its corporate income tax from 5 to 20 years. Besides that, we also give 30% tax allowance of net income tax for 6 years, 5% in each year. The government also provides exemption on import duty on machineries and equipment for 2 years. In addition, there is a corporate income tax reduction facility for 18 pioneer industries, ranging from upstream base metal industry, manufacture of major components of electronics or telematic, such as semiconductor, robotic components manufacture, motor vehicles, and aircraft. The Indonesian government also give super deduction incentive facilities that give tax deduction up to 200% for vocational development and tax deduction up to 300% for research and development, and up to 60% on investment allowance incentives for labor-intensive industries. Mr. Bauer, Indonesian Council General in Chicago is open for further cooperation with Wisconsin, especially regarding investment and relocation of the investment from Wisconsin to Indonesia, and that Indonesia will show maximum flexibility to assist investors from your state to invest in Indonesia. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Made. And then I believe that right now our colleague from the Trade and Investment Promotion Center has a little to add about our trade and what could possibly Indonesia offer as I guess we would like to balance between what Wisconsin need right now and then what we can offer. Mr. Billy, are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Fira. Hi, Mr. Bauer. Pleased to meet you. I just want to add some few things about what the Consul General has mentioned, and also Pak Made has mentioned. All the presentation has been very comprehensive, and I would probably add just 3 more things. The first one would be we like to address our highly appreciation for the WMC for taking your time to have this meeting with us. And also, are looking forward to work with WMC to further pursue cooperation, especially manufacturing sector, as Indonesia has transformed a lot from the past 10 years, I believe. So nowadays, currently for the past 2 years, our export structure is dominated by the manufacturing sector, namely electronic products, medical appliances, automotive products, which I believe has the same posture as the Wisconsin uh, export posture as well. So I believe there are lots of similarities that we could work with. And especially, I would like to highlight as well the medical sector. If we can go to probably slide number 3. Thank you, Imam. So the for the medical equipment, this is something that I found very interesting because apparently it's the second largest export of Indonesia to Wisconsin, and at the same time, medical appliances has been one of the backbones of Wisconsin's industry, especially manufacturing. So, but as we can see, there are both complemented each other instead of like competing each other. So I believe this sector particularly has something big to offer. If we could probably establish more comprehensive basis on cooperation for the medical appliances sector, that would be beneficial for both sides. And then you mentioned also some about the manufacturing sector, especially in the 4.0, in regards to 4.0 industry. I would love to hear more from you about the coolest thing from Wisconsin, made in Wisconsin. It's a very great event, and I would love to hear more about this because it tapped into some sectors that we are currently interested on, which is autonomous. And and we can go to the last slide, please. Indonesia itself has transformed a lot in terms of the use of internet in industry and manufacture, where now we implement more Internet of Things in our industry, in our manufacture. In terms of market potential itself, I believe in 2022 we are going to reach the valuation of 32.6 billion of IoT market. And even now, more than 170 million people already connected to the internet. And we would definitely lay the Industry 4.0 or the Internet of Things as a fundamental basis for our industry roadmap. So we would love to work with you on that particular area. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Billy, for the very brief but informative presentation. So, if I may, I would like to add a bit on what Mr. Billy had said, and then just reiterate that Indonesia is actually looking for cooperation in terms of health and in terms of vaccine for the COVID. And I think because we all trying to manage the pandemic as well as possible. And then if you would like to tell us or share with us about a few like companies in Wisconsin that's probably also trying to find a vaccine for COVID, that would probably be great. And right now, I would like to open the floor for discussion. If there's anyone who would like to respond to the questions that have been asked before, or maybe have any issues they would like to discuss more about.
Well, let me comment on what I just heard. I appreciate the time very much. Sadly, I've not been to Indonesia, but I did study your beautiful country in college, so I'm well versed in your history and your makeup and demographics. I don't know that much prior to this conversation about your economy, but it sounds like we have much in common, Indonesia and Wisconsin. You indicated that 20% of your economy, GDP, is manufacturing. That is true for Wisconsin as well. That is by far our largest economic sector. And the timing of reaching out to American companies and states about the possibility of working collaboratively, particularly for manufacturing, is good, given the complicated relationship we have with China. Many of the companies in Wisconsin and the United States are looking for other places to perhaps manufacture for a variety of reasons. The tariffs obviously are one part of it, but there are other reasons as well. Of course, that all is in flux with a new administration coming into power in January of 2021. Nevertheless, I think the timing of your outreach is perfect because there are many companies that are looking to source and create a supply chain outside of China because they still want to be in Asia, because Asia is where population and wealth are growing, and you want to be where that's occurring. And really, Asia's the future market for that everybody sees. Billy, you asked about our coolest thing made in Wisconsin. I'm flattered that you saw that on our website. We came up with that. Many other states have now borrowed it. Illinois, Nevada, Washington State, North Carolina, they've all borrowed it, but it came from us. We came up with it, and it's just a nice way to showcase the things that are made in our state. And we did that primarily so that we could encourage young people to get into manufacturing, because that's a challenge for us. But the winner this year was Mule, a robotic cart, which I think is very much aligned with what you were talking about the Internet of Things and Industry 4.0, because obviously many people think of manufacturing as being last century, but in fact it is high tech, high pay, high skill. And we are looking for partners all around the world. But like I said, I think that the timing of your outreach is absolutely perfect, because many companies in Wisconsin and in the United States are looking for partners outside of China.
Thank you, Kurt, for your response. And yes, I agree. I think seeing the disruption that happened in the manufacturing sector, of course, after the US-China trade war, and then comes the pandemic, I think there are lots of the disruption in the manufacturing sector. And Indonesia, we are in position of offering United States, especially Wisconsin, as one of the biggest potential to be part of your global supply chain to replace China. I believe in terms of tariff, we are more competitive than any other neighboring countries like Vietnam or Thailand, especially for the electronic products, electronic spare parts, plastic spare parts, which the manufacturing sector would probably need. And also on note of that, our electronic export, the spare parts to United States has doubled this year alone. So it's the increase I think more than 60% right now, year-on-year basis. So I believe we have laid a good fundamental basis for manufacturing in our export structure. And we're looking forward to work with US enterprises and companies in Wisconsin in the manufacturing sector.
You know, and I neglected to mention your tax incentives that you have for manufacturing, which we have here in Wisconsin. We think it's important because manufacturing, as you very well likely know, is one of those sectors of the economy that is a force multiplier. For every one factory job you create, at least 3.5 jobs in other sectors of the economy. So if you grow manufacturing, you're growing your economy, and manufacturing by and large pays above the median. I'm sure that's probably true in your country. It certainly is here in Wisconsin. Manufacturing is not just a job, it's a career opportunity. And Vera, you asked about the COVID-19. I'm afraid I can't illuminate you on where we are with a vaccine, other than what Pfizer announced on Monday, that they're close to a vaccine with a 90% success rate. Obviously, you know, COVID-19 is raging across the globe. Wisconsin is a particular hotspot right now, so we're all crossing our fingers and hoping that we can get that vaccine finalized and distributed as soon as we possibly can, because obviously it's not just a public health, it's an economic health issue.
All right, thank you, Kurt. I think it is very interesting that you know, when you see the list of like what Wisconsin import the most, those are the those are the things that India is very excellent about, which is like my partner has my colleague at the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center has mentioned. So I feel that we are, you know, in a good spot of, you know, with the time, with the GSP, with the, you know, with the trade war, even with the disruption of COVID. I feel that this is, you know, we're in a good place to actually start something meaningful. So right now, I would like to ask the Consul General or the Vice Consul for Economy if they would like add anything into the conversation.
Thank you, Vera. May I have one question, Mr. Bauer? Just wondering about how big your member in your association. I mean, how many members in your association, and what the line of business mainly in the manufacturing sector, whether electronic or medical or something like that. And for the time being, what country that may you have already most from your member going to beyond the China that you just mentioned, and my office member said trade war, a pandemic. So if you could give us some more information about that kind of situation or description from your point of view, that will be great. Thank you, Mr. Bauer.
Yes, absolutely, Consul General. WMC is the largest business group in Wisconsin. We are the combined State Chamber of Commerce and State Manufacturers Association. We're also the State Safety Council. We have about 3,800 member businesses of all sizes and from all sectors. But because we're such a heavy manufacturing state, about 50% of our members are manufacturers. And they really do run the gamut of, if you could name it, whatever we produce in Wisconsin, we have a member in that sector or subsector of manufacturing. In the United States, we identify 20 subsectors of manufacturing. We have a member in all 20 of those subsectors. As far as our trading relations right now, by far our number 1 and 2 partners are Canada and Mexico, as you could expect, as our proximity to Canada, and then of course the fact that we're in North America with Mexico. We export a variety of different things. We make things, we grow things. As you know, as you may know, we're a big agricultural state. We're called America's dairy land. We're often called cheeseheads because we produce more cheese than any other state in the United States. And so we make things, we grow things, and we ship them around the world. Beyond North America, China is our 3rd largest trading partner, at least it was pre-COVID. And then Germany and the UK. So traditional relationships that we've had with Europe. But as I indicated, my members are acutely aware that population and wealth are growing in one continent on the planet, and that's Asia. There may be population growth in Africa, but of course the economy hasn't caught up just yet. Perhaps that's an opportunity for the future. But as of right now, we see Asia as being the market that the market of the future.
Thank you, Mr. Bao. Yeah, it's understood that the distance between U.S. and North America is much closer to Asia. I think this is one of the factors that you and close relation with this continent. And I think we are trying to get closer with your members and yourself in trade and investment. Why? So as I mentioned earlier, that we have a good relationship and we have a product that maybe we can also an option as a supply chain for the product to your members, to your association in terms of the China or other countries that you just mentioned. For that things, I think we will get contact with you, keep contact, and we are here very happy to communicate with you and your members, teams, and companies, whether we can go with our product, and also if you have some more plans or news for investment in Indonesia, we also very happy to provide important information. So again, I really thank you for your time this afternoon. I'm not sure whether there is another question from my team.
Well, I have a question, if you don't mind, Consul General. I do
Yes.
appreciate the time. I appreciate the PowerPoint presentations that were shared, and I ask if it's okay. I would like it if you could send those to me so that I have that information, so I can share that information with my members and educate them, because I think they'd be very interested in the opportunity of perhaps working with Indonesia for their supply chain in Asia.
Yeah, and that one thing that I would like to also to inform you that we have a current information about economic policy, investment policy, and also manufacturing industrial update. If we could have to send to you through you, and then you could assist us to send to your members, I will very much appreciate. And also, perhaps our Chamber of Commerce and Manufacturer Association Indonesia next time would like or keen to have a webinar or Zoom meeting with the Wisconsin Manufacturers Association members. If you could assist us to facilitate that kind of business-to-business contact, that will be very much appreciated, Mr. Bauer.
Absolutely, Consul General. Absolutely, would be honored to.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Any other?
Mr. Kurt, I actually have a question, and it has a relations with the SMEs, because we are a country of 270 million people, and our economy basically consists of mostly small and medium enterprises. And we actually have we had a video conference this morning with the colleague from the MMAC and the WEDC, and then there was like a conversation revolving around how important it is to engage SMEs. So I wonder if in your organization in WMC, do you have a lot of SMEs, and are you open if we, let's say, as my Consul General had previously said, that we might be able to collaborate with the SMEs in a Zoom or webinar with the SMEs from Indonesia with your member? We share experience, especially in regards to the Industry 4.0.
I apologize. What's an SME?
Oh, a small medium enterprises.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's about small medium enterprises, like a mom and pop shops,
Right.
and like a family run mills and stuff. Yeah.
We do represent small business. We just call them small businesses. And we do represent small businesses. We actually represent more small businesses than big businesses. People typically associate us with big business, but Wisconsin's a relatively small state. You mentioned 270 million Indonesians. We're 330 million Americans, of which Wisconsin is only 6 million. I think we're less than 2% of U.S. GDP. So most of our businesses are small. And yes, we'd be happy to work with you. And it would make sense for us to partner with our friends in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Chamber, the Milwaukee Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, to facilitate that.
Okay, that is awesome. How about, and I would like to ask, because like we still have about 10 minutes, if there's anyone else who would like to ask a question or like engage the discussion. Okay, Mr. Made, I give you the floor.
Yes, thank you, Vera. Mr. Bauer, thank you for your very comprehensive presentation. And in your presentation, in your explanation, you mentioned about the tax incentive. Would you be so kind to elaborate on how competitive is that the tax incentive in Wisconsin? Because I love to see our flags behind your seat. So I would like for Indonesia to be in the radar of Wisconsin's government. So of course we would like also to promote Wisconsin in this sense. And also I would like to ask if the government of Wisconsin has kind of a program to support outbound investment from your side, and if there is any events for the investors in Wisconsin that perhaps we could utilize to promote our investment. So if you can explain it to me, I'll be very grateful. Thank you very much, Mr. Bauer.
The tax rate and corporate tax rate in Wisconsin is 7.9%, and for manufacturers, there's a credit that will take that from 7.9 to 0.4. So it essentially zeroes out your corporate tax liability, not only for manufacturers but for ag producers. You have to justify it. You have to prove that you're manufacturing and producing in Wisconsin. But if you qualify, it's something that makes us very competitive, at least at the state level. As you know, under the Trump administration, we went from a 35% federal corporate tax rate down to 21%. So, we don't have something analogous to our our manufacturing tax credit at the federal level, although that was something that I had recommended to the Trump administration should they get a second term. My guess is that the Biden administration will not be interested in that, although we'll try and talk them into it as best we possibly can. And I apologize, maybe what was your second question?
Yes, if you have if your government have any programs to support outbound investment to
I apologize.
other places in the world.
You met with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which is a quasi, we call it a governmental agency. It's supposed to be a partnership between the private sector and the government, but because it's has a little bit to do with the government, it's basically all government. So they are the entity that we work with on forward investments. They have somebody, and I'm sure you met her, Katie Sinat, rather, who is probably on that call, and she is the contact person for the state of Wisconsin government as it relates to foreign investment.
Thank you, Kurt. And I think we still have time for one last question. I believe our colleague from the Indonesian Trade Promotion Center has one. So, Mr. Billy, if you would like to take the floor.
Thank you, Vera. Just two questions, Kurt. First one about the medical sector, the medical appliances sector. We are aware that it's one of the backbone of Wisconsin industry. We just want to know, like, what is the strength of the medical industry in Wisconsin, seeing that I think in Indonesia there are lots of opportunities in the medical sector. Right now, currently, we have around more than 2,500 hospitals throughout Indonesia, and also more than, I think, 3,000 health facility, like smaller scale health facility, which I think in dire needs of medical appliances. So I think if we can explore more cooperation in that area, that would be a very good opportunity for both sides. And also about the coolest thing made in Wisconsin, again, I would love to work with you with the event. I was wondering, like, if the event is an annual event, and if the probably you will have, if the pandemic is over, will you have the this event in a non-virtual manner? If it's so, then is there any opportunity for international participant, like for say a participant in Indonesia to join the competition? So I think it will grow the research and development, and give the opportunity and chance for the inventor from Indonesia to participate in an international scale innovative event. Thank you.
Thank you. First, on the coolest, this was the first year that we had to award the trophy, if you will, because there's an actual trophy virtually. Otherwise, we typically hold that in the Milwaukee area, and usually have about 400 to 500 people attend. And we make it a conference. We talk about manufacturing. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate what's happening in our largest economic sector, and address some of the public policy issues. So hopefully in 2021, we'll be able to award it in person, although we're not planning on it. We're not budgeting for it. We conduct the program, the contest, in the late summer, early spring, fall, and because in Wisconsin, we designate October as Manufacturing Month. Again, a way for us to celebrate our manufacturing sector, and hopefully encourage young people to go into careers in manufacturing. As far as healthcare, manufacturing, as I said, is our #1 economic sector. Healthcare is our second largest economic sector. That's obviously on the provider side of things. As far as manufacturing of healthcare related products, GE is our dominant healthcare manufacturer in the Milwaukee area. They make a variety of things, including CAT scans that are shipped, of course, all around the world. They're very high tech. They have contracted some of their manufacturing facilities in Wisconsin on the healthcare, GE Healthcare, but they still are a major player nonetheless. And we have seen many of our manufacturers have shifted production to healthcare related products and personal protective equipment in the face of the pandemic, in order to adjust to the need there. In addition, we have a company here in Madison called Exact Sciences that makes test kits. And then we have a variety of different companies in Wisconsin that make components for the test kits, including the swabs that are used for a COVID-19 test. So it would be hard for me to tell you exactly where we stand as far as healthcare manufacturing or healthcare related manufacturing, because I think that information is going to lag, because I think it's much more robust today than it was prior to COVID-19.
About the PPE sector, is there any particular supply chain that you're looking for the PPE producer? Because we can offer ourselves to be, one of the supply chain for the PPE products, and also PPE related products, masks, face masks, everything.
Well, we make a lot of the plastic shields, okay. Because a lot of our manufacturing is plastic manufacturing, so we were prepared for that. So shifting production to plastic shield was not hard. We're still trying to figure out the supply chain on N95 masks, the ones that are the most useful, the offer the most protection, particularly for medical medical use. 3M does have a presence here in Wisconsin, but they're manufacturing largely out of their Minnesota facility. And of course, they're at capacity 24/7. So we're still struggling with PPE in the United States. We still don't have enough of the gowns. We still don't have enough of the N95 masks and the latex gloves. That continues to be a challenge for us, despite the fact that we have been able to use a variety of mechanisms in the United States to shift production. You're probably aware that the Trump administration was able to get GM, our auto manufacturer, to shift production to make respirators. Well, they were very successful to the point where we now have a surplus, and of course, they're not being used as much as a therapeutic in COVID-19 as they once were. So I think we focus so much on respirators that we may have neglected PPE. So that continues to be a challenge and therefore then an opportunity.
Great. Would love to discuss more about that, Kurt, probably in another opportunity. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I think that's a very fruitful and very productive session. I believe that we've exhausted all the questions. So I think I would like to thank everyone for being here. Thank you especially for Kurt for taking the time of your busy day to be here. And I would like to ask the Consul General if you have anything else to say.
Just one sentence only. Please send our email address and contact number to the WMC, and we are very happy and appreciate to Mr. Kurt that can facilitating us to the other members that are interested in our product and investment in Indonesia. I think that's my closing remarks, and I really, on behalf of my team, thank you very much, and very much I appreciate for your joining this afternoon, Mr. Kurt. Thank you.
My pleasure, Consul General. I appreciate the opportunity as well. I look forward to follow up contacts, and if there's anything WMC can do for the for Indonesia, please let us know.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you. Have a nice day, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.